Woo! Yep, I got scared. You heard that. Welcome back to Johnny Boy's Garage. Today we're going to knock out the freeze plugs, the valve covers. I have the oil pan gasket, timing cover gasket kit, rear main seal all coming in for this thing. So we're going to get that knocked out too. With that, let's get to work. We're going to polish up, if needed, the valve cover surfaces, and we'll go from there. So we're getting back to it, guys. Doing valve cover gaskets. Got a couple sets of these laying around. Figure may as well go ahead and swap these out too. Now these valve cover gaskets got these little tabs that these lock into. So this can be a little bit of a pain sometimes to get those to pop through. Apparently these things are just gonna fight me today. Alright, you just want to make sure that valve cover gasket is fully seated into the valve cover. So we got the valve cover gaskets installed on the valve covers. So we do got some imperfection down here at the bottom. I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera. Doesn't look like it's going to show up very well. I'm just going to hit it with this little die grinder. Just did a video on this thing. I love this thing. Cleaned it up pretty. We are going to leave the, I'm glad I didn't go in the engine. We are going to leave the upper intake off. That way, when we have to install the wiring harness, we're not wasting a gasket. Should be 8s. I did just realize that I put the stud and this bolt in the wrong position. I'm not going to bother switching it. What it's there is to hold your spark plug wires up, but I don't even have that clipped, so I ain't too worried about it. I'm just running these down, and then when I tighten them up, I like to go from bottom middle, do the top 2, and then the bottom outer 2. All right, that one's on. We're gonna flip to the other side. This side looks pretty clean. I'm gonna see if I can get my grinder up in here just a little bit. Got a little sparky up out of that. Now, I'm using this grinder on the lowest speed at like quarter trigger, so if it stalls out, it's not because it doesn't have power, it's because I'm going well below what it's capable of. And when you're setting these bolts down, just make sure your gasket stays flush. It's not folded or over or anything. You'll just wind up doing this again if it is folded. Now there are torque specs for these. I never use torque specs on valve cover gaskets. You go till they're tight. I've snapped more than one of these bolts going to torque spec before, so I go till they're tight and I generally don't have an issue with that. Alright, valve covers are on. I'm going to rotate the motor over and we're going to try to knock these freeze plugs out. Go here with the freeze plugs, just try and knock them sideways, then you can pull them out with a pair of pliers. There goes, she's starting to move. And if you do it really good, you do what I just did. Then we're going to play the game of can we fish this out of the block? Whoop. That one's out. See, that was nice and rusty. I don't think there's any holes in it yet, but it was working on it. No, the screwdriver's not made for impacting, but I feel like I might have better luck getting the thing to rotate with this one. Makes it a little bit easier to get out. That one's out. These are the same size. I'm gonna clean these holes out. The main difference between these is the thickness, but these were inset quite a bit, where I think if these are flush, it'll work just fine. Apparently I didn't have Scotch-Brites. That became a whole ordeal. But we're back from town. This has got quite the caked on layer. I have a feeling this is going to take a while. Yeah. I will catch you guys when I am ready to hammer these things back in. So we're about to drive in the freeze plugs, got the holes cleaned up quite a bit. I like to lubricate these a little bit just so that they don't bend or anything when you're hammering them in. I used Vaseline. I've previously used like engine assembly lube. Just anything to give it a little bit of lubrication. And I just stuck my 3-inch extension inside of a short 1 5/16 socket. That way it won't go down in the hole and you can hammer it with gravity. And that way you can just hammer it in flush and it'll stop at the block. And you want to hammer this as straight as possible. That should be good. If not, I'll cry about it later because that's not exactly easy to get to. Make sure you get china nice and legible and straight in the center. That way they can see why it's leaking if it does. Those two are in. I'm gonna roll it over, knock the other two out like I did these two, and I will catch you guys after that. I'm gonna go ahead, hammer in these last two freeze plugs. Make sure china shows up nice and pretty like. Those are in. Since we got it over to bank 2, we're gonna fully mount the engine mount plate, and then we're just gonna tack on the engine mount itself. Leave those there. We will be backing the engine mounts back off when we do the oil pan. I'm just trying to clean up in the shop. Do have a video planned to do a in-car exhaust manifold replacement on the red car. The passenger side is leaking, so figure we can get that fixed up. Flip this over, do the same thing. And when I pull the timing cover, or I should say when I attempt to pull the timing cover, I'm going to do both of the freeze plugs in the front. That way we have those done. The back ones look real fresh, pretty much new. I don't know if that's just from them being covered up by the transmission or if they had been done at one point. But yeah. Let's get this engine rotated back the right side up. It is moving. That's not something you want to see. I'm going to tighten that up. Hey guys, welcome back to Johnny Boy's Garage. We're going to be finishing up this 3.8 engine. We're going to be pulling the harmonic, the water pump, the timing cover, the camshaft synchro. Our gaskets finally came in from eBay. That came from CarQuest. I don't trust this cheap RTV, so we're not going to use that. But got the timing chain, got the gaskets, so let's get to work. I already have a harmonic puller, but I didn't feel like running to work to grab it. You can pick this up at O'Reilly's. I think it's like 30 bucks. It's under the Rent-A-Tool program. From what they say, after I think it's 3 days, you can keep it. And it's a real nice consolidated little kit. So your first step to using a harmonic puller is finding the bolts that fit your harmonic. So I got my winners right here. We're gonna pull the crank bolt. I have the engine set top dead center. Old girl didn't want to come out. Now I know some people will loosen the crank bolt and then push off of the crank bolt. A good harmonic puller will have, and I realize how destroyed that tip was. A good harmonic puller will kind of sit up in there and this will spin. So what you want to do is you want to lubricate this so it doesn't fight. Make sure this doesn't just fall all the way into the threads. No, that'll hold up pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and swap that out. So we got this set up. We're going to start our bolts in the harmonic. Got those bolts run down. Then you want to make sure you keep this centered as you go in. All right. set up. Those bolts are run in. And it's just that easy. Oh, wow. Check that out. The harmonic's cracked. I'm gonna call the O'Reillys and see what kind of warranty's on that. I'm gonna insert a picture of this too, because I'm not sure how good you're gonna be able to see this on camera, but a harmonic completely cracked. But what I just found out, which is awesome, it's still under warranty through CarQuest, so I have a new one coming. So we're gonna proceed with getting the water pump off and keep on rolling. That's not something to keep in mind when you're pulling something with a lot of bolts is I like to kind of set it down on a table and kind of draw the pattern so I know where it goes. Got 2 more tins. That RTV will hold it, I promise. Whew. She said, I don't want it. No, I don't want to pry there. That'd be bad. I was looking like I got pepper in there. So we're going to pull the cam position synchro. See if I can slide it out past. Looks like I cannot. Yep. Cool. Before I pull this, I'm going to mark where it's indexed in relation to the timing cover. And then we're going to mark this in relation to this. Now it may not actually be completely a top dead center, so that might be an issue later. That'll be a problem we face when we get to it. Gears look pretty good on it. Gears look pretty healthy. That's the shaft to drive your oil pump. We've got this. We've got an Allen key buried right there behind the oil pump. We've got an Allen key right here. I'm not saying I ever broke one of these timing covers because I missed that, but it's definitely a possibility that I broke one of these timing covers. And I see I missed 2 bolts over here, so I'll get those done. And we're gonna real carefully try and get this thing off of here. In my experience, they like to crack. I'll show you where, because this gets me a little anxious trying to do this. So the last time I tried pulling one of these timing covers, these bolts like to get seized to this aluminum timing cover, and I cracked it right along here. I wound up snapping this stud off in the block, tried drilling it out. I snapped the drill bit, managed to get it out, went in with a new drill bit, snapped it off, and it was done. Oh, no way. No way. How cool is that? How cool was that? That thing popped right off. It was definitely leaking, but I'm okay with that. It came off. My trauma is gone. It's probably because there was so much oil on it. Oh, it's leaking coolant there too. We got that free. This engine ain't quite as healthy as I remember it being, but we're gonna go ahead, see if I can push back this tensioner. So apparently, to reset this, I actually have to take it off the block. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this free. We're gonna slide it off. we're gonna try and keep note if this shifts when I pull it, because if it shifts, we have to get everything back in tight. There's a keyway. Cool. Guess there was a bit of slack. Alrighty. Old timing chain and whatnot. I'm gonna pull this off, figure out how to get this apart. Timing guides look decent. That one looks a little chewed up, but this ain't gonna be no high performance motor. And I don't have a timing chain tensioner readily available out here, so we're gonna pull it off, get that ratcheted back up, and start putting this back together. So to release this tensioner, I figured this out off camera. There's a tab on this side, and there's a tab on this side. You have to lift that up and pull it back. It's not the easiest thing to do in the world. I have it mounted to a vise just so that I can use two hands to get that piece up. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna pull that back, we're gonna set the tensioner, and then we'll set the chain. And when you do this, I have a little hook pick and a 90 degree. The 90 degree you want to the outside, because when I first tried doing this, I found out that you can't get the hook side out because you have to rotate it too far. The hook side will go hook down, pull up on it. The 90, I have the point facing upwards. And we're gonna go ahead and get up in here. Set this one down for right now. All right, that's under. This is under. And go ahead, lift up. Now, make sure you got your hole lined up. Take that out and shove something through it to hold it in place. Now we'll see just how long an icon pick can hold that spring. Go ahead and get this tensioner back on here. I'm gonna look up the torque specs, but I might just send it to Ugga Dugga land. Now, if I was putting this together for somebody else, there's not a chance I would use an old tensioner. But it's my motor, and I know it's probably not going to be on here for very long. Looks like I went a little bit too Ugga Dugga on that. But that should be fine. I'm going to get a ratchet and an 8. And check to see how tight those are. That's tight. That's good. That was not tight. That's good. Now, I have had this timing kit for probably 3 years. And after snapped my last timing cover, I said, I don't even care about that timing chain. It's good, it'll go. So, finally get to put this timing chain on after God knows how long. Get her chain set up nice and fancy like. A different depth. No, that's good. All right. Get that put back up in place. Get my little rubber mallet. That's back and that's back. Cool. So we're gonna go ahead. I can't spin now. That's released. Cool. So she is now in. She looks nice and purdy like. We're gonna go ahead and start putting these other gears back on. So we're gonna go ahead and hammer out this front main. Timber. So we got the front main out. We're gonna go ahead and clean up this gasketing area, and we're gonna pull the oil pump. I have a new gasket for it, so we'll get that put on too. So with that, let me grab some tools. I'll be right back. I'll get back with you guys. Should be about perfect now, or at least perfect enough to throw back on the engine. Flip her over on the water pump surface. That was genius. I don't think we'll ever get this perfect, but she's a lot better than she was, and I always RTV this gasket anyway because this is done a lot, so you get nicks and whatnot, and the RTV helps keep the gasket from leaking through these little nicks. It fills those gaps, it makes it a good sealing surface. That was tight. Oil pumps still look like it's in pretty good condition. So I'll pop that gasket, swap on the new one. Torque specs for this are pretty important. I have to pull that up because I don't remember. So looked up torque spec. These are 89 inch-pounds. These are 18.5 foot-pounds. Starting to regret putting this thing on wheels today. Click. We got the water pump surface cleaned. We got the back of the timing cover cleaned. I'm gonna put this up on the bench for right now. We're gonna clean the block. Then we can start putting this thing back together. So to make the block a little bit easier to clean, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the studs that I can. These two I'm not going to pull. I did break these two free. These two go through into the coolant jacket, so without having like a substantial fight and potentially snapping them off, I just don't see the point in risking that for this. So we're gonna do these two and call that good enough and start cleaning up the block. And we are going to put anti-seize on these studs because they do like to stick. So get these out. I'll figure out what we were going to clean this thing with. Can I get this dowel out? How strong is my luck today? That almost feels like a not gonna happen. I will catch you guys when this thing's cleaned up and ready to go. We do have to still clean the water pump. We're gonna mount the water pump directly to the timing cover, and then we're gonna mount it all as a unit. I don't have a harmonic at the moment. That's on its way. I found that the one I just took off was cracked, so that'll be here when it gets here. And I'll catch you guys when this is ready to go back together. So that's probably about as cleaned up as I'm gonna be able to get this thing. Go ahead and get this thing shined up. That is clean enough for me. So grab the timing cover. We're gonna get the gasket. We're gonna put some RTV on it. Set it down, get a few bolts, tack this in place. We're gonna slide it all back together. After feeling the gasket material of the timing cover, I'm not gonna put RTV on it. It's like a graphite material. So we're gonna RTV this paper gasket real thin, like both sides, to take up any imperfections. We're gonna put the 3 10mm bolts that hold it onto the timing cover in place. And then we're gonna sink the timing cover down. I forgot to rotate the engine. So I'm gonna do that real quick. I will be right back. I probably shouldn't have started the RTV properly. So I rolled the engine over, feels good, so let's keep on rocking. Now if you're doing this in a car and you use a thin layer RTV, makes your life way easier too. Because then it holds the gasket in place for you and all that. Like I said, just a thin layer. cover. That slides back. Give it the wiggle. I forgot to put anti-seize as help to get it on these bolts. Otherwise, the next time you have to do this, you're really gonna be sad. I'm starting to think it was maybe 18.5 foot-pounds and it was 25 Newton meters. Clickies, all the clickies. Looks like it pressed back nice. So I will say that operation is a success. Timer cover's on. We're kind of stuck until we get the harmonic and everything in. So probably call it quits for this portion of it. It's nice to have timing and all that done. In part 3, we'll do like the oil pan, we'll do the rear main, and we'll do the harmonic. As always, guys, thank y'all for watching. I'll catch you in part 3 where we finish this motor completely up. Just kind of put us in a bad situation because parts don't come in, part was broke, stuff like that. I'll catch you guys next week. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching.